Dr. Jeffrey Sachs, economist, Columbia University professor, and longtime analyst of global policy, offers a chilling assessment of Israel's long-term strategic ambitions. Let's hear what he has to say.
What I can say unequivocally is that the Israeli plan underway to go to war with Iran is very long-standing. That has not been hidden from view. That's been Netanyahu's greatest dream since 1996. Netanyahu's philosophy and approach is dominate the Middle East, use Israel's nuclear monopoly in the region to bludgeon, kill, assassinate, overthrow any government that opposes Israel's actions. What is the end purpose of all of this? The end purpose seems to be to allow Israel to define its own borders in any way that it chooses, as expansively as it chooses. One might have said, and I write nonstop, that the way that it chooses to define its own borders is complete control over the territory of British Mandatory Palestine, meaning that Israel would have full control over Israel, Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. But this may be naive because part of Israel, religious fanatics, look to early passages in the Bible, in the Hebrew Old Testament, saying that God promised the land essentially from the Nile to the Euphrates, or maybe from the Red Sea to the Euphrates, depending on interpretation, but that in any event, the claim is much larger than even Mandatory Palestine. Israel today occupies parts of Lebanon, parts of Syria, all of Mandatory Palestine, and we don't know where it is supposed to end, but the basic doctrine of Netanyahu is that's Israel's choice, not anybody else's choice, and that when push comes to shove, the United States will back Israel's choice because the United States is basically under the control of a Zionist Christian and Jewish and Israeli lobby that will come to run to support Israel's actions. We're watching this play out in an astounding way.
You've just heard from Dr. Jeffrey Sachs. His message is crystal clear. Israel's preparations for a potential war with Iran are not recent developments. This strategy has been in motion for decades, and at the heart of it all is one central figure, Benjamin Netanyahu. Let's break down Sachs's analysis and explore what it tells us about Israel's broader regional objectives, its reliance on military strength and nuclear deterrence, and the United States' role in enabling these plans. According to Dr. Sachs, Netanyahu has maintained a firm and unchanging outlook since his first term as Prime Minister in 1996. That vision isn't focused on peace or mere security. It centers on asserting dominance across the entire Middle East. Sachs characterizes Netanyahu's doctrine in stark terms. Leverage Israel's exclusive nuclear capability in the region to eliminate, silence, or dismantle any government that challenges Israeli interests. It's a bold claim, but Sachs isn't offering guesswork. He's citing a consistent pattern of conduct, from orchestrated assassinations and drone operations to regime change efforts and open clashes with groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran. The underlying objective? Granting Israel the authority to shape its borders as it sees fit, broadening them unilaterally and without external approval. A vision that goes well beyond the historical bounds of British Mandatory Palestine. At first, one might assume Israel's final territorial goal includes only the full territory of British Mandatory Palestine, encompassing modern-day Israel, Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. But Sachs argues this view might be too narrow. Certain groups within Israel, notably religious nationalists, draw inspiration from biblical scripture. They interpret passages from the Hebrew Bible, or Old Testament, as divine entitlement to land stretching from the Nile River to the Euphrates, or possibly from the Red Sea to the Euphrates. These religious interpretations reinforce a mindset of expansion that far exceeds globally accepted borders. While not all Israelis support these ideas, Sachs observes that they do influence powerful circles within the leadership. Currently, Israel occupies portions of Lebanon and Syria and exercises full control over Gaza and the West Bank, territories often referred to as disputed rather than occupied. Where does this territorial ambition end? Sachs suggests it doesn't, because under Netanyahu's strategy, it's Israel alone that defines its borders. And crucially, the United States will stand behind whatever course Israel chooses to follow. One of Sachs's most provocative assertions concerns Washington's role. He contends that the U.S. no longer makes autonomous decisions in the Middle East. Instead, it operates under the sway of a pro-Israel coalition, comprising Christian, Jewish, and Israeli interests, that shapes U.S. policy in favor of Israel.